Hello Team Trilogy family, my name is David Phelps, PDJ number 89361, and this is my in the bag video for the Team Trilogy application. I'll start off with the bag itself. I'm rocking the 2017 GBO Commander bag. This temporarily replaced my Ranger bag, but it's, as you can see, my go-to bag now. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with my mids, of which I only carry two molds right now. Primary one being the Justice. Fantastic disc. I should probably mention that I am a primary forehand player and I live in Kansas, so most of my bag is overstable. Justice being one of the staple discs in there. This disc is just fantastic. Forehand, backhand. I mean, it finds the lines and then it finds the basket too. On top of the Justice, I also carry one Evidence. It was recommended by my buddy Daniel George. Thank you, Daniel. It's a pretty good disc, a nice little chip shot kind of disc. So that's my mids. We'll go ahead and get to our fairway drivers here, which I've got plenty. So I carry one Burst Zion. It's kind of like a beat Felon, has plenty of glide, and it's just a really comfortable disc in the hand, really fun to throw. I've really enjoyed the overmold discs from some of the other companies, and so I'm really enjoying that Lat 64 has been producing those now. We're going to go to our Renegade, the only understable driver I have in my bag. Not a fairway driver, true, but I don't use it for crazy long shots. I don't have a whole lot of power with my backhand, and my forehand as an understable disc, I like using this as kind of a flick kind of shot disc, getting out of some of the few wooded shots that we actually have here in Kansas, or at least in Wichita. Convict, fantastic fairway driver. This is the disc that I learned how to throw backhand on. Still in the learning phases, I'm just an intermediate player. But yeah, this is a great disc. It may or may not be staying in the bag. I've got a getaway to try out, so we'll see how the getaway goes. Got a first run Maverick here. This is still in the testing phase along with its brother, the Captain, although the Captain is probably going to wind up staying in my bag just because of the few times I have thrown it so far. It has just been a bomb, both for flicking and for backhand. On to more fairway drivers. My favorite fairway driver in the history of fairway drivers would be the Felon. I rock this thing in the Lucid, the Moonshine, and the Fluid plastic. I've lucked out. I've had a couple of the Fluid ones, but I've had to retire one from all the signatures that were on it, darn. Anyhow, Felon is a phenomenal disc. I love throwing this thing. It was designed to be used in Kansas for the crazy Kansas winds, and my God, it's a phenomenal disc. If you do not have a Felon, I absolutely recommend that you get one. Let's go ahead and stick these guys back in here. Let's see. After the Felon, we're going to go to our Fortress. This disc is super sweet. I kind of treat this as like a longer Convict for me. Holds backhand lines just fantastically. Doesn't quite hold the forehand lines as well. Doesn't hold the torque quite as much as like the Felon and the Criminal do. But the Lucid plastic definitely seems to hold it a little bit better than the Tournament plastic. Sorry, not the Lucid, the VIP plastic. So yeah, Felon and Fortress, great disc. It's probably because they start with an F. After that, we're going to move to our Criminals, the love child of the Felon and the Enforcer. This disc, I can't say enough good things about the Criminal. I mean, if you've got a headwind, it basically becomes non-existent when you throw a Criminal into it. I keep it in both the Fusion and the Lucid plastics, just so the Lucid's a little bit more stable than the Fusion. But great discs, both really comfortable. I've got pretty big hands, so I like having the wider rim on some of the higher speed drivers there. Let's see, it brings us to the Defender. I am throwing the Lucid Defender that's got the metal flake and it's got Moonshine plastic in it, so this thing's quite a bit beefier than it seems. And then I've got its Biofusion counterpart with the hand-dyed Dayrunner there. Great discs. I use these for tailwind throws. I usually try to throw them on a flick line as low as I can, and I can crank these suckers out over 400 feet on a flick. It's a great disc. It's nice and consistent. Not quite as consistent, I will say though, as my Enforcers. This is my absolute favorite driver, hands down. I've got a Lucid plastic Trilogy duck stamped one, and then two Fusion plastic ones. This white one, it has definitely seen some some busy times. This was probably one of the first Enforces that I've ever owned, and I retired it for a little bit, then let a friend borrow it, and he lost it, but it's since been returned and maintained a lot more stability than I thought it did, so I can still flick this thing pretty well. And of course, I've got the newer one that's just a little bit more stable, and the most stable being my Lucid one here. Great disc. I couldn't tell you how many times I've lost one of those too, hence me buying a lot of them. And we're going to round it out with 2 more distance drivers. One is the Stiletto and one is the Ballista Pro. Stiletto's been in my bag for a little bit. I can throw this thing both backhand and forehand. Of course, the forehand's going to get more distance. Backhand, when I need to make those right angles, Stiletto's the way to go. And then the Ballista Pro, holy crap. This thing, I am so glad that I bought a couple backups of this. I ended up cracking the rim on my first one. But this nice Hyzonot stamp one, it did work at GBO, and it did phenomenal work at GBO, I should say. So really happy to have the Ballista Pro in the bag. It's like a longer enforcer, and you can really mash on that disc too. Which leads us to the putters. I'm a very weird player in that I putt with slammers. I know traditionally this is an approach disc for most people. I actually used to be a Warden thrower. Not that I'm not a Warden thrower still, just not in my bag right now. I love the slammer because I can throw this thing on a flick line and on a backhand line. It's like a great utility putter for me. And I tend to putt on an Anheuser, like unintentionally, just that's the way the disc comes out of my hand. So having a slammer with the stability that it does, it kind of corrects that for me. So I make the disc do the work instead of trying to make my muscles learn anything new. But anyhow, that's pretty much it. It's my in the bag for Team Trilogy. Hopefully everything goes well, and hope you guys are having a great